Real Madrid through on penalties. Massive controversy with a disallowed penalty after the fact. VAR deemed a double tap by Julian Alvarez. A big miss from Llorente. A very lucky winner from Rudiger. But Real Madrid do it again. Atletico Madrid out. VAR may be slammed, but we're going to be reviewing that with you right here on the Football Terrace. So get the like button hit. Make sure you are subscribing. Get the bell notification button turned on as well. We're going to be getting the panel out for you soon. We're going to be bringing on we're going to be opening up the line for some calls as well. A lot of people talking about a robbery. A lot of people talking about sort of VAR helping Real Madrid tonight. We want to get your views. We want to get your opinions. Arsenal picking up a draw tonight as well against PSV. It was a bit of a dead rubber, but we're going to be looking more ahead to what the rest of the competition is going to look like for Arsenal. A brilliant result for Aston Villa as well, as they see themselves through to the quarterfinals against Paris Saint-Germain. We know our semi-finalists now. We know how things are going to look moving forward. But my word, the sort of up and downs of tonight's game. And I will say one thing before we get into the decision with the panel. I said it throughout the watch along that I did tonight on That's Football. The volume of opportunities and chances that Atletico Madrid were missing, I had a gut feeling, just a horrible gut feeling, that Real Madrid would go on to win. I had a horrible gut feeling that Real Madrid would just find a way to nick it, whether it be a screamer, whether it be a last-minute winner, and or on penalties. It just felt that Atletico missed too many opportunities. And we've seen this so regularly in football. When teams are dominant, when teams have chances and they don't take them, if they're up against a very good or superior team in terms of overarching quality, it often goes wrong in that way. And it did tonight. I feel really, really bad. I feel really, really bad for Atletico. I felt they deserved it over the two legs. But in football, you don't always get what you deserve. It is as simple and it is as straightforward as that. You don't always get what you deserve. And I feel that way for them tonight. But Real Madrid go through. It's Arsenal versus Real Madrid as well, which has only just popped into my head. Arsenal will play Real Madrid second leg at the Santiago Bernabeu. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the test for Arsenal. Even the build up to it, the social media element of it is going to be absolutely amazing. It truly is. Of course, Gooners will be praying, hoping, begging that Bukayo Saka is fully fit and firing by then, because they're probably going to need it. But will they get chances against Real Madrid? Yes. Will they get opportunities? Absolutely. Can they defend resolutely, Arsenal? I think they can. Interestingly, I was watching Arsenal tonight, and look, they conceded a couple of goals that I thought were quite sloppy. But I also find it a really hard night to judge Arsenal on. Kivior's playing, not Saliba, and they were through. And they were through to the next round. So it's a difficult game because it is a dead rubber. I'm sure people that despise Arsenal will find a way of saying tonight's 2-2 draw is the exact reason you can't go on to win it. I don't necessarily or personally buy into that myself. Even though, by the way, I think Real Madrid are the outright favourites. I'm not saying that Arsenal are the favourites or it's evens. They are the outright favourites. But that is who Arsenal will now play. Aston Villa versus Paris Saint-Germain. I'm so excited about that draw as well. I really, really am. But we're going to get the panel out soon. I'm going to go to some of your super chats as well. If you haven't hit the like button yet, people, please get that done for us. It means a great deal. It really, really does. Mike here says, great job on That's Football tonight, Terry. Glad to be here. Thank you, Mike. And I will say, I did the show on That's Football, my first watch along in like 5 years, and it ends up being 3 hours long, penalty shootouts. It was a madness, but it was really, really good fun doing it, to be fair. I really enjoyed it. And I don't know what there was. There was like 10, 11,000 people watching in the end, which was amazing. So a big thank you to all of you over there. Carl Robbins here says, sweet corruption. I love it. I love it. That's what he's got to say here. Do you know, it's one of those things. I don't necessarily think it's corruption. I know that people will want to go to that. It's just luck. That's a moment where Real Madrid just got lucky. They just got lucky. They really, really did get lucky. You know, Terry, I swear the devil works with Madrid in the Champions League. I'm tired of this. I hate them. Hashtag Visca Barca. They just had this knack of getting through, and it's why they're my favorites. And it's why I wanted them to go out, because I just feel when Madrid are in it at the moment, I feel like it's inevitable that they will win it. And I felt like that for a long, long time now. I just feel like they are going to win it. Fancied our chances more versus Atleti. Surely Real Madrid can't cry about calls now, but what a match. The drama scintillating. This is why we watch. Come on, you gooners. Well, the great thing about the extra time and penalties is at least fans of other clubs got to watch. And I know that Arsenal's was a dead rubber, but it's very difficult when it's your team. You always gravitate towards your own club. Villa fans, at least the fans of those clubs got to watch parts of the Madrid derby tonight as well, which is great. A cracking watch along today. Arsenal must face the demons of Real Madrid. Hopefully we announce ourselves. We move. Look, Arsenal beating Real Madrid is an absolutely mammoth task of the highest proportions. Get through it, and it shuts up a lot of doubters. But it's very, very difficult indeed. It really is, because they didn't play well tonight. But I got told during the watch along, I didn't know this stat before the game. In 90 minutes, Atletico haven't lost a knockout Champions League game at home since the 90s, according to a super chat I got. I haven't verified that stat. But it does. I don't remember the last time they lost a knockout game at home. Maybe Real Madrid. Did Liverpool? No, did Liverpool beat them? No, they can't have done. Otherwise, no, they didn't. They couldn't have done because of that stat that came out last night. So no, I don't think they have. Maybe someone can verify that. But Real Madrid is going to be a tough cookie. There's something called rules. Learn them. No, and I agree. I don't think it's corruption. I don't think it's a robbery. A lot of people are claiming it. So we're going to have the conversation because a lot of people are calling it out. It was just pure fortune, pure luck. That's all it really was. Aston Villa will be the only English side standing. Well, they have an easier game in many people's eyes playing PSG than Real Madrid. Although I would say PSG's last 4 or 5 Champions League games, they've performed better than Real Madrid. I do agree with you. Bye-bye Arsenal. PSG versus Real Madrid is narrative matchup. Is what IFL Discovery says here. I swear Perez has sold his soul to the devil. I thought I've seen everything with Madrid, but a double tap in a shootout, madness. Yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. That's one of those weird rules, isn't it? Where I sort of think, why is that even a rule? I'm not just saying it because of this moment. I do think, why does it matter? I don't even get it. I kind of get if you like flick it up and volley it, right? I get that. But yeah, it's just one of those. It's rules are rules. Rules are rules. Rules are rules. These odd toe Eugalate Madrid Thetans, Barca will smoke them. We'll make them pay for it. Sorry. Thank you, Luke, for encouraging everybody to hit the like button this evening. I really appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Evening, Terry. Image semi-final, Real Madrid versus PSG. Kylian Mbappe left PSG to win the Champions League, and PSG win it. Listen, that's why I think somebody else, it's a narrative matchup. It is the narrative matchup. And imagine PSG knock them out and go on to win it, as you say. That happens, though. That does happen. You know, Michael Owen left Liverpool to win major honours, and I think that following season, Liverpool won the Champions League as an example. These things have happened in football before. I just saw slow-mo replay. There was a slight touch with his left foot. Fair enough. Was going to be a tough game for Arsenal either way. Yeah, of course it's going to be a tough game. And look, Llorente then missed his penalty anyway. Okay? So Atletico still would have gone out. He missed another. It wasn't like he scored and then Rudiger missed and whatever else. They still missed 2 penalties. They still missed 1 penalty. You know, they still didn't. It was not like they were perfect. I do find it interesting. VAR, which takes like 5 minutes to make a decision, made that decision under 15 seconds when it wasn't clear and obvious. Well, I suppose that is the thing. Is it a clear and obvious mistake? No one's probably going to ask that question. And what if they didn't make it that quickly? What if like 2 or 3 more penalties had gone in? Yeah, it is an I'd love to hear the rationale behind it. And obviously they must check it for everybody. But it's just, yeah. And I suppose if it went the other way, well, let's be fair. If it went the other way, I think a lot of people would be saying, oh, would be celebrating it and wouldn't be challenging it because Madrid went out. So I think we need to be balanced when it comes to that. We really, really do. But there we go. Right, time for the panel to come on now and have their say. Over 4,000 people watching, which is, listen, it's more than I thought would be tuning in tonight with Arsenal's Dead Rubber. I'm not going to lie. So thank you all for tuning in. We've got a panel for you now. To all of our new viewers, please get the like button, hit, and get yourself subscribed. We're bringing out our panels. We're then going to open up the lines for some calls as well. But we've got Dom Husam coming on. We've got Igal Talks Football, who's an Arsenal fan. We have Conor coming on as well. We've got some others. We've got Isaac and Matt that we're going to bring in a little bit later for you as well on the show. But welcome to the panel tonight, gentlemen. A crazy end to the Real Madrid game. Conor, what did you make of that penalty shoot and that ending, mate?
Do you know what? I knew that would happen. I was really looking forward to a good game tonight, and I think it was what happened. The penalty's a bit of a tricky one, man. I'm looking back and forth on different clips. I can't tell if it was the right decision, the wrong decision, but either way, from an Arsenal perspective, we were going to end up playing a difficult team in the quarterfinal. A lot of people said Atletico Madrid would be the harder team. I've seen people say Real Madrid would be the harder team, but overall, a fantastic match tonight. And I won't deny, I was flicking back and forth, more watching the Madrid game just a little bit more, just to try and figure out how our opponents would be and what they'd really be playing, how we'd be playing against them, what kind of tactics they'd be doing. And these two teams that are playing tonight, they're tough teams, man. They are two very, very tough teams. And listen, I'm not very confident for this quarterfinal coming up, but it was a fantastic game. And, you can't beat a penalty shootout at the end of the day. You can't. And listen, the way it happens, that's the drama of the Champions League, isn't it? And what happened at the end with when all the Real Madrid players were doing the Rudiger celebration with him, well, heritage, isn't it? So, it was a good match. And listen, Real Madrid, let's just see what happens. And I bet Igal's happy. You got a combined 11 to do, Igal, eh? So,
listen, I wanted Atletico Madrid. I didn't want nothing to do with Real Madrid. I'm not gonna see the end of that Real Madrid Arsenal combined 11 that I did years ago. It's gonna be recycled all over the internet for the next couple of weeks. And you know what? Today is one of those weird days where Arsenal's playing, but nobody's paying attention to the Arsenal game, even the Arsenal fans. They're more focused on the Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid game. And I heard from some fans saying, Igal, Arsenal don't have a good attack. Wouldn't you rather face a team that's a little bit more open in Real Madrid? And I'm like, no. Why would you want to face a team that won 14 Champions Leagues when you can face a team in Atletico Madrid who have not won those many competitions? Now, I get it. Atletico Madrid is known as a better defensive team, but Real Madrid just have too many difference makers. They didn't step up over the 2 legs this time, but still, we're going to be going up against Champions League heritage. And yeah, it's an absolute joke.
Why is this guy laughing? Why is this guy laughing?
I don't know why he's laughing.
Why is he laughing?
He was singing Bari Baba, hey, hey, hey the other day. But listen, I'm not complaining. We got to, in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. And at this point, I don't know if we're going to be able to beat Real Madrid. To be honest, I think Real Madrid obviously are the favorites, and majority of people would expect us to win. But here's our opportunity to make a statement, show the world what we're made of. And defensively, we could give them problems. It's just, can we put the ball in the back of the net? That's the only problem.
Igal, you're so cute when it comes to this conversation. You're just so unaware.
Yeah, and you're cute when you lost.
You don't understand the level of Satanism you just watched in your front of your very own eyes, and that's what Real Madrid is capable of. And just enjoy it. Enjoy it. You can sit up here and you can give false hope to the Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans in the chat, I'm here to tell you the reality. I'm not like Igal. I'm not gonna lie to you. You made a fantastic run to get this far. You get me? Quarterfinals, you're out, mate. This game is going to be done probably at the Emirates. I think at the Emirates, the game is done already. I think the tie will be over at the Emirates before you even head to the Bernabeu. This is going to be over. You are no match for Real Madrid whatsoever. This is your final destination. You get me? As they're saying in the chat, this is the last step. you know, there is nothing more left after this. And yeah, you guys had a great run. You guys enjoyed a fantastic journey, but it's over, mate. It's over. I know about Real Madrid, you know, and beating Real Madrid at home ain't for everyone. So let's see in the next round if you can beat them at home like we did. So yeah, big up though, guys. Arsenal fans, hope you enjoyed your journey. You did really well. You made it to the quarterfinals. Fantastic progress.
So Sam, you know you jinxed your team.
Oh, yeah.
Now you might have just jinxed Real Madrid.
Listen, even Husam can't jinx Real Madrid. Like that's way too above my
Yeah,
level to jinx.
We'll get on to who Arsenal are playing next in a moment. Viewers, any questions you have for the panel, send them in. Obviously, our member chats and our super chats will prioritize as we always do. I just wanted to get the panel's view on still a lot of people in the comments talking about the disallowed penalty of Julian Alvarez. I've just watched the replay that shows like a very minute touch. Do they have a right to feel hard done by? Does it feel like controversy as people are suggesting? Or is it a case of, Sam, that rules are the rules? Madrid did nothing wrong. The referees follow the rules and everybody should just get on with it? Or do you understand the controversy surrounding this moment?
Look, it's a rule. It's a rule in the sport, and it's unlucky, but it's still a rule. Like I can't go call Gino Infantino now and go change the rule book. Like it's very unlucky. It's very unfortunate. Of course, you know, Julian Alvarez should feel very hard done by because it's very unfortunate, and specifically for him, who's actually been one of the best players in the world this season. Absolutely incredible. You know, Julian Alvarez. He was fantastic this whole year. Very unlucky, but it's a rule. I mean, if you touch the ball first, then the penalty has to get ruled off. And it's funny because when I was doing the watch along as well for the penalties, when Oblak saved the penalty, like when Oblak saved the penalty from I think it was Vasquez, I was like, Alisson, that's how you save penalties. And then the Rudiger penalty happened, and I'm like, that was so easy. Oblak, like he shot it right at him. I have no idea how he didn't save that. So look, I get why people are annoyed because it seems like Madrid have gotten away with another one of them type thing. So I get why they're irritated. I get why they're annoyed. But at the end of the day, I'm being completely objective and honest here. Rules are rules. It's unlucky because he slipped, but he did touch it with his left foot first. Like there is nothing we can do about that.
Yeah. I hear
Jerry,
that. Yes, mate.
I just think to the fans in the stadium who have absolutely no idea what was going on, like the commentator was saying, that right there ruins the experience because they have no idea that a player just scored a goal and it was disallowed. Maybe take a second and actually communicate it to the fans, not only on the Jumbotron, maybe speak to the fans and actually be like, you know what, this goal is disallowed, let's continue. Like, there was no moment where he actually notified the people in the crowd what was going on. So imagine you're there, that's you're supporting Atletico Madrid, you're watching a player just score the goal in the back of the net, and the goal is disallowed, and you don't even know what the hell's going on. They continue on with the rest of the penalty shootout, and you still have no idea what the hell's going on. And then all of a sudden it's over when you think you just can see the moment that it ended. Imagine there's some Atletico Madrid fans out there thinking they still have one more penalty kick to worry about.
Well, look, experience of the fans I agree with, because a lot of them in the crowd would have been sitting going, what's going on? They wouldn't have understood. You're right. Maybe something was said in Spanish and we can't understand it, but I don't think they were communicated with. The problem I have with it isn't the rule. The rule is the rule. But this has happened in football before where new rules come in or existing rules. Something it happens in life sometimes. There'll be a process or a procedure, and then a flaw within that procedure is found. And what I mean by that is there's no way that that can happen and it not throw the Atletico Madrid players, because it's an obscene, not obscene. It's an app. It was weird, right? So everybody's concentration got broke. As fans, the referee was communicating funnily. Everyone's asking questions. The problem with it being in the rules and then it happening after, like so far afterwards, is the next player that comes up to take the penalties and in a different frame of mind. And he might have been walking up going, well, did it count? Did it not? He's thinking about that rather than his penalty. Now, some will say you've got to be professional and keep your mind on the game. And I understand that. But maybe they have to look at this and say, well, we're going to keep the rule, but now we can't allow the other penalty taker to be placing. We've got to check it before the next guy can come up, as an example, because it's normally in a penalty shootout, every penalty taker knows the exact score as they're walking up to take their penalty. They know what's going on. That I know we scored the penalty, but the Atletico Madrid team, I still think they were a little bit confused about what the hell had gone on when they were stepping up to take their penalties. And for me, it's not, no rules are broken. It's absolutely fine and fair. But I think what it's done is inadvertently found a little bit of a flaw in the process slightly that created, I wouldn't even say an unfair advantage for Real Madrid, because they may have found they lost their concentration, didn't know what was going on. I just didn't think it was great for the spectacle. Penalty shootouts, it's meant to be about the penalties. They're quite intense. And then we suddenly had this unnatural break in the middle of it. So maybe they've got to work on that procedure a little bit more. But yeah, look, the rules are the rules. And I've seen the replay twice now. It touches his foot. It's just bloody unlucky. That's all it is.
I agree.
Is bloody unlucky. And it's as simple as that for me, really. It is. We have a few super chats here that have come in that I want to put out. Pray for Madrid is what skipped my lips.
Pray for Arsenal.
Pray for Madrid. Hussein here says, as a Madrid fan, Husam, don't pass on a loser mentality to Arsenal fans. They should believe.
It's not about loser mentality. It's about just acknowledging where you're at. Like
Reality.
It's about reality. Madrid is just a step too far for Arsenal. That's reality.
There are a lot of people. Listen, like, you know, I've been real and honest here. Listen, it's all fantastic result against PSV. You know, especially at their ground. It was great. It's great. But you know, I think, you know, a lot of people are saying, even with Saka being back, you know, will it give us a bit more of a chance? Yes, of course, 100%. But you know, reality is reality. We are going to be facing the best team in this competition in terms of history. You know, and listen, they may have had their slip ups today. They may have not been 100% on it today. But you know, listen, I'm more than happy to go out there again in the quarterfinals and say, listen, let's give it a go. Let's give it a try. But with our situation right now, especially up front, you know, we don't have our fully fit attack. You know, Havertz and Jesus still aren't back. Listen, are they a most crucial part to us? Personally, me, no. Listen, Havertz is, of course, better than Marino up front, 100%. But is he the answer in these kind of games? Not too sure. For me, in my opinion, you know, whatever happens, happens. You know, we're obviously not the favourites for this one. But I think a lot of people may now see, like, you know, let's not hold into this copium. You got to be realistic. You know, listen, I know Husam is obviously here to sometimes troll, is what it is. But, you know, I do have to say with Husam, you know, you're being realistic as well. We're not just here to troll. We're being realistic. Look at what we've got to work with up front. Yes, we scored 9 goals in these 2 legs. It's all well and good. I actually highly overestimated PSV. I thought, especially at their ground, they'd be a lot more harder to beat, believe it or not. Especially with how long they were unbeaten there for. I was like, okay, right, this might be a bit of a challenge. But no, we've done the job. But the other thing that throws me off is the fact that we're home first. You know, going away to the Santiago Bernabeu, second leg, especially if we're down by maybe 1 or 2 goals, like, it's just reality, innit?
We just need to make sure we don't go into these games defeated and
no, of course not. No, you don't want to do that.
Because the fan base, there's a portion of the fan base going to feel defeated, but the players, they believe in their ability defensively. And as much as this sounds crazy, Real Madrid being the favorites, having to bring the game to us, it allows us to be a little bit more pragmatic, which suits us in these kind of games where we're not the team with the onus to have to go and smash a team. Because look at it, Newcastle, look at the games that we've had struggled this season. It's the teams we had to break down. Real Madrid, as much as I don't want to face them, and I don't think any team wants to face them in the world, the way that they're going to play us, they're going to be a lot more offensive.
Why are you looking at this from only one side? Like, okay, they're going to attack.
They're not going to be pragmatic. Also, Real Madrid is not going to come to the Emirates and be pragmatic.
They're not going to be pragmatic, but they're still attacking with nuclear weapons. So
yes, but those same nuclear weapons have been flopping when it comes to some of these games.
That's the only benefit I think of this game. You know, the one thing I always say about Arsenal is, and it shows with Arteta's tenure here, what's he heavily invested in and made so good? The defense. I love our defense. I think we've got a lot of adaptability in our defense. You know, we can. You know, Ben White's back. He wasn't fantastic there, I'm not going to lie, but I'm putting that down to the fact he's just coming back into things. But, you know, we've got a good defence. I love our 2 centre-back partnerships, Saliba, Gabriel. They're very good centre-backs. Now, dare I say, if Arsenal do have a chance of winning this, which I don't think they do, but if we do, is it a case of sit back and counter? Is that the game
That's
we have to
probably
do?
what's
Because
gonna.
obviously
That's probably what
Madrid
it's
are
gonna
going to
be.
be all
Do you know,
firing, you know, because obviously up front we got Raheem Sterling, you know, a young Wanyeri who's never played like a team against Real Madrid before. You know, we'll be expecting him to turn up on the day if Saka's not available. You know, we've got to rely on the defense.
Yeah,
maybe.
the defense is your only. When I say your only chance, you've got to score. Well, you actually don't have to score any goals to still go through.
All the way.
It could be 0-0 and penalties theoretically. I get where Husam's coming from. The chances of Arsenal winning are low. Though, again, if I'm Arteta, if I'm in that Arsenal dressing room, I'm using that to my advantage. You are convincing the team that the pressure's off, but without you losing your desire to want to win. And it's about, again, this is where a coach like Arteta can prove. And I know that we might get into it a bit later, Con. I know you're someone that's Arteta out, but this is where maybe you can start to win some hearts and minds, because if he can get the team to relax but still be competitive and find a way by hook or by crook to knock out Real Madrid, I think it would send a different level of belief into your team. It would silence a lot of your critics, which would probably relieve some of the pressure, and it might win a few hearts and minds back. But it's a colossal thing that he's got to do. I mean, Arsenal, what is your record like against Real Madrid? I know you beat them on the way to the final. Oh, you are undefeated. Okay, fair enough. But is there a lot of sample size though?
2 games.
Well, yeah, that's
just
what I'm saying.
Look, I mean, look at what we're comparing then to now. It's just
I do agree, and I look at it and think I'm in the mindset of the super chatter, which was Arsenal know they're the underdogs, but they should be demanding that going into the game defeated. There's no way I think that's why you got battered 5-2s and 8-2s, the Bayern Munich. I think you went into those games, the management, the fans, the players having zero belief you could win, and I think that's when you get beat. That's when you get beaten up. And we've seen for instance, look at my club, Man United. We're in the pits. We've gone away to some really good teams, including yourselves, in the last few months. But there has been a belief there, and we've been able to. And listen, I know that none of those teams have an attack like Real Madrid, but equally, you lot are much better than us defensively. So there is a counterbalance in there. I just think if you go into this defeated, there's no chance we can win. If that's pumped into your dressing room for the next 4 weeks, you might get pummeled. There needs to be a balance of. Equally, a lot of the detractors are gonna kind of, if we get beat, I'm gonna lose my shit. Why? You don't even think you're gonna win? You've got to be balanced and fair with the team, I feel. But I'm looking forward to the game, because no skin off my nose who wins or loses. Giuseppe, welcome to the show, mate. Thanks for tuning in. Just on the Arsenal situation quickly, is there any genuine question? Is there anything to take from your game today? Good, bad, or indifferent?
There's one thing, right? And listen, it was PSV, yeah. But I've been crying for Zinchenko to play more in the midfield, and he was really, really good today in the midfield. I know it was PSV. I know they're not great. Their defending was not fantastic. Then again, we were playing way too comfortable, but it's expected. I want to see if we are running out of options, players like Zinchenko, I want to see get more involved. I was sick and tired of this inverted fullback stuff. It worked the first season, but then we realised it wasn't, and then we had to adapt, get other players to fill in for him. Timber was meant to be that player, but then he got injured that season. I want to see more of, if we get the opportunity this season, to see Zinchenko more in the midfield. He plays there for his national country. It's a role he's suited to. And listen, again, it's PSV. Maybe I'm overthinking it. And it was a great goal, by the way, from him today. He had a really good game today. Maybe if we want to adapt so much, if we love adapting so much as Arsenal, maybe utilise Zinchenko a little bit more, utilise our bench a little bit more. I don't know. That's one player for me who really stood out today. And I want to say as well, obviously,
the future in midfield, or just try it.
I mean, do we keep him on for a new season? I'm not too sure. But today he showed promise that he can. We know he can play in the midfield, Gal. That's the thing. Do we keep him on as a backup for next season? Am I just saying this on the fact of coping that he's just had a good game? Maybe it's just me saying that, but he did stand out for me today.
To be fair, we need better. We need better midfielders if we're going to lose both Jorginho and Partey. But I don't think Zinchenko is a long-term solution. It is good to see him play there. The person I was going to say stood out was Raheem Sterling. Had a decent game for once. And it's good to see him gain some confidence and have a good game here and get 2 assists. He could have scored numerous times. He was getting in the right positions. It was the first time I've seen him in a while since.
Don't you find it ironic, Igal, by the way? But don't you find it ironic that what he was doing today, I'm not just taking it from the fact that PSV have been very poor over these two sides, but what he was doing today, surely he could have been doing this in the games that he has been coming on and playing. because the fact that he's only had 2 good games for us, one was against Bolton and now PSV, where we finished up 9-3.
The rumor is he was rushed back from injury, guys, and he even said it recently. He said it himself.
I think one of the big. I think his body's starting to fail him a little bit. Very young when
I
he came.
I think so as well.
A lot of that when he went run through 1-on-1 in the first half. If anyone goes to watch the That's Football watch along, I'm not going to be able to beat the allegations I'm an Arsenal fan. If you watch what I was shouting when he was running through, I'm screaming for him to score. And it has nothing to do with him playing well for Arsenal. I've just got a soft spot for Raheem Sterling for the way the British media treated him as an example. I also think his body's failing him, but I also think he's suffering a massive confidence crisis. And listen, you're Arsenal fans. Treat your club how you want. Treat your players how you want. It's your club. I don't think you're going to get a better Raheem Sterling by slamming him. I think you'll get a better Raheem Sterling by putting an arm around his shoulder. And I think we live in this world now where everybody thinks the more aggressive, the nastier, the more pejorative you throw at a player, it shows I've got high standards and it'll get the best out of them. I don't think every player works that way. How do I know that? I'm not a genius. I've listened to the greatest man manager English football's ever seen in Sir Alex Ferguson, and he didn't treat all these players the same. And the same as this. I don't know what you guys do for a job, but as a manager, you can't treat everyone the same. You can't treat every member of you can be fair with them. But there's some people that you can be a little bit more forceful with. Others you have to be a little bit more caring with. There are others that there are people in your life, and you know these people, that you can call them a very horrible swear word as a joke and they laugh. There are other people where if you make the slightest joke about them, they might start crying. So we all do this idea that you have to treat everybody the same no matter who they are. It's a load of nonsense. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in reality. The way I treat my daughter is different to how I treat other young girls her age. It'd be weird to treat other little kids like I treat my own daughter. It's a real thing. You'll become a dad, Giuseppe. You get it. There's just this notion that in life, in every walk of life, you should treat everybody the same no matter what the situation is ridiculous. And it's a scientifically proven fact that human beings are all motivated by different things. So we're all motivated by different things and we fit into different categories. You can't treat all those people the same because you're not going to get the same response out of them. So look, for what it's worth for Raheem Sterling, he's been a poor signing, but I think the more encouragement you give him, the more love you give him, the better version you get. And in the short term, you need the best version of Raheem Sterling possible. So let's see what happens with that.
Can I ask a question to everybody? Yes. Do you feel like us facing Real Madrid in the next round could impact how teams and how our signings go in the future? Because based on our performances, based on how we perform in this Champions League, could people take us more serious and be like, you know what, this is a serious outfit. They gave Real Madrid a run for their money and they lost in a close tie.
We played Bayern last season ago. Then look what happened. Like nothing changed.
But it was a close tie. We didn't get our ass handed to us. You know what I mean?
If we win the game, then it's a different question. We got to win the game.
Yeah, I agree.
On the game, by the way, I didn't get to say anything before I joined a bit late, but I don't think we're nowhere near favourites to beat Madrid. I don't really think we will with our team. But the one thing I take is that if you look at Arsenal against top clubs, even in the Premier League, when was the last time we actually lost a game against one of the big clubs? And the question is, a couple years ago, is actually mad. We seem to perform better against these. We perform better against these teams that are better, that push us more. So listen, to say we've got no chance, so Sam's gone, but to say we have no chance is crazy. I think we have a chance.
Everyone's got a chance, Everyone's always got a chance.
I think you have to win the first game, but I don't see why Arsenal as a team should go into it fearing Real Madrid. I don't think you should fear anyone, and I don't think this Arsenal team does fear anyone. I'll be honest, I think that's gone out of them. We battered
you know what the thing is? Season. I hear you, but my issue is we have Mikel Moreno up top going to the Bernabeu. That scares me.
No, but you say that. Who says that's going to be the team? We're probably going to have.
But who else would it be? Do you think, Giuseppe?
Well, if we got Saka back, then we're going to play Trossard up top, and we're going to have Martinelli on the left, and probably Saka on the right.
Do you know what? Up front, I'm not convinced.
All we play for me. Try Martinelli up top against them.
Yeah, you play Real Madrid on the 8th of April, so you've basically got like a month until that point. There's an international break as well, so I listen. I get where you're coming from, but I think the language is important. I think there's being as a fan, I'm a bit fearful of what Madrid can do, but I don't think the Arsenal players are going to go into that game. I remember Declan Rice when he was at West Ham talking, and I think it was about Man United, to be fair, because we were coming to their ground. And I think the journalist said, are you fearful of going up against Bruno and Pogba? And he kind of looked at her and said, we're not scared of playing anyone. And he didn't mean it as an arrogance. He said it from the perspective, we're professional footballers. I don't actually think there's a lot of teams in the modern day game that, oh my God, that's Mbappe. I'm so scared of him. Like they don't want to go one-on-one in a race with him because they understand how fast he is. But I don't necessarily think that tonight Saliba's going to go to bed and go, oh, I can't sleep because I've got to go up. I think they'll be relishing. I think the players will be relishing the opportunity. Fans have got to be the ones in this circumstance to balance their emotions as best they can. What you don't want to do is if things aren't going right at your ground, is suddenly lose. You need to keep your atmosphere high. You need to encourage your players. You can't be leaving early if it isn't going your way. Those elements there from the fans, I think, are going to be massively, because last night PSG's fans and PSG for large periods of the game silenced Anfield, and that was a massive bonus to PSG. A few super chats here before we bring some callers on as well in a moment. Why are you so negative? We need plan A. We need plan A win. Arsenal are not some scrubs. We need to fight and believe in ourselves. People piss me off. I don't think. Listen,
Shut up.
I don't think anyone on the panel has been particularly negative. I look at it this way, though, that there's a real horrible element of social media that's kind of happened in recent times, which is, how do I say this in the right way? You think Arsenal got a chance? Yeah, I think they've got a small chance. Arsenal go out. You said there was a chance. I'm correct. There is a chance. I think there's zero chance they win the Champions League. They don't win the Champions League. See, I told you I was right. No, you're still wrong. You were there wasn't zero chance. There was a small chance, but it's this. I call it spaghetti throwing. They just throw a lot of spaghetti at the wall and they hope some of it sticks. It's a little bit like saying, Conor, if you go underwater now, 10 minutes, I think you'll die. I'm not a genius.
Whoa! What do you mean? I could do 12 minutes. What the fuck? There
we go. Maybe you can, right? Giuseppe, tomorrow morning, I'm making two predictions, and if these come true, you've got to tell me I'm a genius. Okay? Tomorrow morning, the sun's going to come up. Secondly, or there'll be light. Secondly, your daughter will poop her little nappy. That's good. Those two things I can say with almost certainty are going to happen. Doesn't make me a genius when they come true. There's certain things in football you can predict where there's a high probability you're right. And then what you do is you exaggerate the chance or the opportunity to make it sound like you're some type of genius. And it's just boring.
Terry,
now.
I think it's even worse
funny
than
as
that.
well? Do you know what's funny as well? Sorry, Gal.
Okay,
with just on Husam, because I've got this, I wanted to speak to him because he can't banter us now. He cannot take the piss out of us going out of the Champions League because he has stated we have zero chance. Therefore, there's nothing to laugh about if we go out of the Champions League now because he believes we're not good enough. We have zero chance. So therefore, you can't then laugh at us.
Fair, he is still winning a league title, Giuseppe. He is still winning.
No, but I'm just it's nothing about winning.
You can't laugh at the fact that
it's like me going.
Yeah, but
he's looking at a guy.
This is 2 years in a row, man.
Looking at a guy with one leg. It's like me looking at a guy with one leg racing a load of guys with two legs and going, he's got zero chance of winning. And then when he don't win, laughing at him, going, you didn't win. You didn't win. You can't do that because you never thought he was going to win.
Who makes fun of
This is what I'm trying to say.
But here, listen, that's the thing. He'll laugh it off.
Let
me just bring it back though to what Terry was saying. The thing I find is Arsenal fans. There's some Arsenal fans like myself who probably have a lot of copium and try to talk their way into things being positive. But there's a lot of Arsenal fans who are overly negative to protect themselves from the case in which we do their negativity comes true. So they will then, Terry, they will then predict that they're gonna gain weight and they're not gonna get back into shape when they know it's in their own control to try to get back into shape. Yeah,
I guarantee you all. I think Terry will lose 2 or 3 stone. I'm gonna put on weight. Well, I know what I'm doing. I can go and eat the bad food, right? Some people make predictions that are quite obvious, or there's a high probability just so they can try and sound like a genius.
And it's harder to be positive than it is to be negative because then you have no control over that.
I agree. A super chat here says Ati were one of the teams to knock out Madrid due to the fact they face them so much and don't give them the respect as most other teams do in the Champions League. The ball is still round and anything can happen, as we saw in the first leg with Liverpool and PSG. There is a lot of truth to that. I also I've not been that impressed with Bayern Munich this season in the Champions League, but I thought against Bayer Leverkusen they looked brilliant. That could be though because there's that familiarity with who they're playing. But that's a brilliant super chat there. To be honest, I'm glad we're facing Real Madrid. It shows how far we have come from being a top team or winning far from being a top team or winning a Champions League. We should not be scared. There is that, Conor. There is that as well, Conor. Like I know that a lot of some Arsenal fans are over Mikel Arteta now and everything else, but like 3-4 years ago, you couldn't get into the Champions League. You were called Banter FC. There is an element to be proud of here that you're in a quarterfinal against Real Madrid now.
Yeah. Listen, of course, I've always said, listen, I do want the manager gone, but I always give my praise where praise is due. You know, where we were from the beginning when he took us over compared to now is completely different. You know, he's taken us from a 15th place, like Manchester United, 15th place, all the way down there, you know, with Burnley and all this, losing to Burnley and all this jibber jabber, to now being back into the Champions League, which we were waiting for years to do under Wenger. And then obviously moving to Unai Emery, couldn't get it to us that season when we bought it against Palace. And then, so he has brought us back to where Arsenal belongs 100% and obviously competing, you could say at least for the titles. But that's, and of course, listen, I give my praise to some of the players he's signed. I think he's signed more bad players than good players if you really do weigh up the options, but we have brought in some really good players. Like again, I praise our defense. I love Gabriel, Saliba, Timber. I'm really, really glad that Lewis Skelly's now come through to his own. I really do think he is part of the future now. Calafiori, still waiting for a little bit just to see a little bit more of him. I give my praise give my credit, where credit's due. Then I go do ahead and look at it as well. You know, you've got to look at it now on the pitch. And this is my main standpoint now with Real Madrid coming up. And this is always the thing I've had with Arsenal under Mikel Arteta. And the one word is consistency. That's the one thing we haven't seen in terms of game to game under Mikel Arteta, in terms of when it really comes to get into those trophies. It's all well and good. I do think the Arsenal players will be motivated. They will be really up for this game, especially at our ground in the first leg. I'm praying to God we can go to the Bernabeu with an advantage, with a lead, even if it's 1 or 2. 2 would be fantastic, of course. I do think the players will be up for it. Will all the players be consistent and show the fight on the day? There's a lot of players, not a lot, there's a few players that really do spark to mind that I think they're not 100% there. Will they turn up for the second leg with that massive crowd? Will they be frightened of that crowd? You know, look at the difference from when we smashed City 5-1. What a win that was. And I said this, and I knew this was going to happen. We smashed them 5-1. We went to Newcastle. The crowd, everything, they were completely on it from minute one when we it was the offside goal, you know, when that got let offside from Isak. The crowd was roaring. They wanted that goal back again. The Arsenal players sort of went in on themselves. They somewhat hid, and that's what I mean. It's all well and good, you know, get yourself prepared for this game. You know, I do think any team has a chance to win this game, but for me, it's always consistency. Do I think all the players are going to be consistent in these 2 legs? No, I don't think they are, but it's not due to the fact that it's all the players. I think it's certain players, but it's the certain players that are key to this team. If I have to name a player, it's Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard has constantly shown me that he can't go game to game to game. You know, he's the captain. Can he lead this team as captain to the semi-final to get past Real Madrid? What an achievement that would be, but can he do that? Personally, for me, I don't think he can from what I've seen from him in the past. You know, that's
listen, I hear where you're coming from. Robinson here says Real Madrid finished 11th in the league phase. We all knew what they'd become in the knockout phase, and they're in another quarter-final. Why are Chelsea fans repping Gallagher? I thought Gallagher played well today. Obviously scored a goal. Had to come off because they had to change things up. But I get this. There are a lot of Chelsea fans that didn't want Conor Gallagher to leave. So I get why they're out there repping him today. Why is Husam here? We don't need his nasty take. He's obviously gone now. Madrid's defense is not great. Arsenal win. Clip it is what Kel Robinson says here. That'll be an interesting one. Surely Arsenal have to sit back and counter. I think that's what you all kind of agree on, is sit back, defend well, and try and catch them on the break.
I think
That's the best
Arteta
shot
needs
we've got.
to. I think Arteta needs to study what Atletico have been doing to Real Madrid this season, and how Simeone's been setting up against Real Madrid, because they've actually had the better of Real Madrid pretty much every time they've played them this season. They've been the better team each game they've played them this season as well. So I think Arteta actually has to look at that. And a lot of people say Arteta can play that sort of style, the Simeone style of like defensive and that. And I think that's how we're going to approach the game. I think that's how Arteta will approach the game. Now, we need players like Saka back. We need players to perform like Odegaard going forward. I think there's a good chance Odegaard performs. I think he might have some oomph in this game, being that Real Madrid kid that didn't kind of make it there and didn't really get a chance. Like, listen, we're gonna have to wait and see. But I think that Atletico playing Real Madrid before we've played them might benefit us in the sense that Arteta being able to study how they set up against them. And I know it's different with the Spanish team.
Giuseppe, do you trust Arteta to be able to adapt his play style to Real Madrid? Because I take our most recent game against Manchester United, the whole game, you'd like to think at half time, maybe he makes some changes around, I was begging for us to go straight at their defence. Instead of going on the wings, crossing in balls, go straight at them. I've constantly seen under Mikel Arteta, there have been times where he has, I'm talking about recency now, not a couple seasons ago, we had that really good season where we win, because no one could figure us out. I'm talking about more now, because we're living in the now, aren't we? Do you trust yourself, Arteta, to adapt against Madrid? Because what I'm seeing at the moment, especially with how we're playing, today was a little bit different, I guess you could say, because PSV are a bit more weaker side. We had a bit more chance to be free. Look at the advantage we had, but it's all recently. It's all get it to the wingers. 1-2 with Odegaard, Wanyeri crossing the ball in the box and
funny thing is,
because we can't do that against Madrid.
Connor, the funny thing is, I actually do trust Arteta too, and the reason that is because April 2023, mate. Honest to God, April 2023 was the last time we lost against a big six team in the Premier League. Yeah, and I know we've lost other things. I know we lost to Manchester United on penalties in the cup. I get that, but it don't seem to be the big teams that Arteta seems to struggle to come up with a game plan for and a system for to not lose the game. Yeah, we lost to Bayern. I hear Matty saying we lost to Bayern. I hear it,
Small margins.
but listen, at the same time, I'm not saying we're going to beat Real Madrid. I'm just saying I can trust Arteta to come up with a game plan. We lost to Bayern Munich, but we were in that game the whole time. And there was arguments to say that there should have been decisions go different ways in the game. But that's nor here nor there. But I do actually think that the bigger games are the ones that I trust Arteta in more to set up in a good way.
That's a fair point. I want to get to some of these super chats, guys, and we want to take some calls from the viewers as well on a few bits and pieces. This here says, regarding Alvarez's penalty, apparently they use some tech. Do you know what? They have the chip, don't they? They have the chip in the ball. So that's probably going to help them make that decision more than the camera angles. I forgot about that. I think they use the chip for the contact for the automated offsides. So therefore, they'd probably know whether a ball had been kicked twice or touched twice on the kick. So that's a really good point there, Ken. And as I say, I'm not against the rule. I'm not saying that was bad. It was just the implementation and the confusion in the middle of a penalty shootout. I don't think either side should kind of face that distraction on a penalty shootout. I think that bit was poor. And I actually think Madrid would moan about it if the result had gone the other way, because the Madrid player's about to take his penalty and he's getting distracted. So that bit should be changed. Why is this even a conversation? It's the rules, and he made an error in failing to take the kick. Listen, I get where you're coming from, Alex. This is the thing with football fans, though. We want to speak about these things when they happen. Do we think it's right? Do we think it's wrong? Is there any evidence of it? Was there a mistake made? It turns out there wasn't, but I get why people ask. Husam thinks football is played on paper. It's why he lost to PSG, thinking about playing the Madrid teams. Arsenal are massive underdogs, 90% loss chance, but football is played on the pitch. It absolutely is. To be honest, I'm glad we're facing with. Sorry, I've already done that super chat. We've not conceded more than 2 goals in all competitions. And by the way, I'd say the 2 goals you conceded today, if the game was closer, I'm not sure if you concede them. I'm just throwing that out there.
That's true.
We've got second best defense. So all this trashing and stuff from Husam I don't really get, is what Emmanuel says. Bermuda Gouda with a massive donation here. He says, I've played in 2 world championships, CAC and Pan America games. Bermuda is 20 square miles. population under 60,000. We competed against the best in the world. We were always the underdogs, but our determination and guts gave us a high, and that kept us in the games. Come on, you gooners. And I think I always find that the sort of defeatist attitudes, a lot of the time it's by people that have never played sport at a decent level. And listen, underdogs win all the time in sport. And I think just writing it off as an if you honestly watch football, boxing, MMA, rugby, whatever it is, and your mind is, well, the favourite's the favourite. And every now and then you'll get a game that you think is close, but the favourite will win. There's no point watching the sport then, is there? Because where's the jeopardy, if that makes sense? Thank you for that donation, mate. It's really, really kind and generous of you. I've seen worse teams win the Champions League. The difference is no fear. And listen, I think you make a great point there, technically gifted. We're going to take a few calls now from viewers. Carl's coming on to give us his thoughts. What are you saying, Carl?
All good, mate. I'm all good. Like, to be honest, I thought we were pretty poor. As I'm a member of Real Madrid, I've done a membership. So, yeah, like, I thought we were pretty poor. And, yeah, like, I saw the VAR were checking for that Alvarez, did he touch it twice? Like, Mitrovic done it for Fulham 2 seasons ago, and I think he missed still, but yeah, like, and yeah, there's players who played for both Madrid clubs, Courtois and Llorente, who's playing. He was Real Madrid and won the European Cup in 2018, and I know Toby Alderweireld played for Atletico, not Real, because he went to Southampton, then went to Tottenham, and he played in 2 UCL finals and lost, I'm afraid. And I thought, this game could decide, but another penalty shootout loss.
How do you feel about playing Arsenal next? Are you confident? Are you slightly worried? Are you writing Arsenal off like a lot of Arsenal's Premier League rivals are?
Nah, like as Diego said, they're undefeated. We have a score to settle, as Mo Salah said a few years ago. We have a score to settle. 2006, I think. Yeah, Henry ran past Sergio Ramos and scored past Casillas, and Henry scored there every time he played there. Like, whether it be for Arsenal, Barcelona. Like, I'm not writing them off. I know some Premier League rivals are written off, but I'm not. I've got to give Arsenal respect, and Odegaard played there, but it didn't work out for him. So, Odegaard played there, and he won 2 European Cups, but it didn't work out. And
I hear you there, mate. I do appreciate you calling in, Kyle. Top man, and we'll chat to you again soon. Thank you. Next on the show, we're bringing in Isak on the show. How you doing, mate? Isaac, sorry. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. What you here to say, mate?
I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm just, I guess I'm just a little bit angry about, where we are currently. Like, where this is the same thing that happened last season, where we went to Bayern Munich in the quarterfinal, and we just didn't have enough to win that quarterfinal. And the board, after finishing second back-to-back, we were supposed to have an unprecedented summer, and buy is, really going hard and going big and get some quality players. And then we ended up with Sterling, Marino, no offense to Calafiori, he's still trying. And now we're back in the same place. We're going to play Real Madrid. And it's not like, I expect us. I don't really think we're going to win. But at least if we had, certain players, or if we had recruited well, even in the January transfer window, then at least we'll be like, okay, we have a chance. We have something. We could try, or, but now, it's just diabolical. I know today is a dead rubber game, but we played Sterling, Marino, Tierney. That is diabolical for Arsenal. We are, no offense, but we are a tiny club compared to where we're going. We are a small club compared to where we're going. I'm not talking about like we are, we're just a tiny team or something like that, but like if we want to be Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, all the European heritage, we are far from. And it's like our board is not ruthless enough. It's like they've never been in a place of strength. You've been in a place of strength, and then you capitalize on it, and you're like, wait, we missed the league by 1 point. We're gonna go in hard. We're gonna go in big, and then we had a poor, we had 2 poor windows, and now we're playing Real Madrid, and it's like we don't even. Yeah, we have some hope, but it's like, yeah, right. So today, the game, the tie was already over, but it's just the fact that, most people have already checked out of this season. The fact that we're going to play Real Madrid, even if we played Atletico Madrid, I'm sure some people would have maybe fancied our chances more, but it would still be, I feel like it would still come down to the fact that we just don't have enough. Like Saka, he's going to come back. Yep, awesome. But like, are we going to rush him back? Is a month enough? Like, I'm a physical therapist. If you've had a hamstring injury for, it will take you 4 to 6 months to really get back to like top
January,
shape.
no?
So he had his surgery like December 23rd, 24th or something. So this is January, February, March, 3 months. So if by the 4th month, hopefully, but like, it's just like Ben White. Ben White, you could see that he'd been out for a while because he was rusty today. You could tell that he hasn't played so much in a couple of months. So I'm just sad that, we like Liverpool have been great this season. They have, you play what's in front of you. You beat the team that's in front of you. There's no, you can't fault them for that. But like, we should have been neck to neck with Liverpool. We should have been like really, up there. But and now we, it's not like I'm trying to sound negative, but
No,
it looks
listen,
like we're
It's
fighting
okay,
for
man.
top
You're
four.
telling the truth.
Bro,
I
you're saying your truth. That's what I got.
and that's it, mate. That's how you see it. That's how you feel. There'll be many gooners there'll be some that will disagree. There'll be some that say you're speaking facts. Sometimes I have to take myself out of how I feel about my club, because I just look at your problems right now in the contemporary space as first world problems because of where my team is, right? So, there'll be fans of championship teams that will say, what is this guy moaning about? His team are in a quarterfinal of a Champions League. What I will say is this, though. The whole becoming Real Madrid, becoming Liverpool, becoming Bayern Munich, you could start winning all the big trophies today. That's still 20 or 30 years away to catch up with what they're doing, and they're going to add to it. So the one thing I'd say about becoming as big as a club, like look at City have done in recent times, they're still not as big. They're not as big as Real Madrid after winning what they've done. It's going to take a long, long time to get to that size. So I wouldn't say you're a tiny club in comparison, but to catch Real Madrid, you also need Real Madrid to stop growing at the same time. So there is that element. But I do get where you're coming from with that wanting to be on that level. But I think if you can win a Champions League, you add that to your trophy cabinet. That goes a long way, and I do understand that, bro.
Terry, where I agree with him is
go on.
The way that we do our business in the transfer window. We don't show the same level of intent as the bigger clubs like the Real Madrid and the Barcelonas of past.
No, I understand that. I do, and I understand where you guys challenge it. I really do, bro. Thank you for calling in, mate. I really appreciate it. Call in again, my friend. Really, really good points there, my man. Top stuff. Next, DR's with us. What are you saying, DR? Who's a Chelsea fan, by the way? DR's a Chelsea fan. What are you saying, brother?
This game, I still can't believe this game. I don't think they have a chip in the Champions League on the ball. I don't know. I don't think they have that.
Okay.
I looked at the replays, and to me, it's not just my opinion. That did not look like a double kick at all. To me, from the angles I've seen on Twitter, I just don't see the ball moving with the left foot. Now, I will say this: this next game is gonna be box office. Oh my god, yo! I need Real Madrid to lock in right now, because I know their bodies are gonna feel it. They played through the playoff stage, and they've now done 120 minutes plus a penalty shootout in the round of 16 against Atletico Madrid, a derby. Bro, Arsenal have a real chance of winning this game. If they had Saka back fit, I'm not gonna say they definitely win, but it's like it's really up there. You know why? Because I've been watching Real Madrid a lot this year, and they just don't play good tactical football. Like they play good football, but they don't play good modern day tactical football. Like they have injuries, they have their moments. But I will say, if Mbappe can't get it going and Vinicius is gonna play like this today, Arsenal have a real strong chance. His attitude was so bad, Terry. If you watched him the entire game, he looked pathetic.
I will say today, barring the penalty that Mbappe won, I thought that Vinicius, Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, the three stars of that team, I thought they were all so poor. Now, they don't have a great record away at Atletico Madrid. So there is that. There's a familiarity. There's a derby element to it. And we all know that derbies can be a nullifier. But if they actually perform to that level in the matches against Arsenal, that is where there is a chance and an opportunity. But I want to kind of phrase this as it's more rhetorical, this. But Arsenal can't have zero chance against Real Madrid because of how brilliant and potent they are. And at the same time, if they beat them, be labeled with, but you played a poor Real Madrid. Because I'm already calling out that narrative from everybody saying there's zero chance. I'm not saying you'll do this, DR, but you kind of said there's been problems with them this year. They've not been very great. They've not been at their consistent best. This is also what would happen if Arsenal win. You would get the negative Nellies, the rivals, the detractors, the Jason Cundys, the Simon Jordans of this world, the Gary Nevilles that would say, but it isn't the Real Madrid of old, is it? I think that's what you would also get. So for me, I think Arsenal got a slim chance of going through. And if they do, they deserve huge amounts of credit. That's the stance I'm taking as of right now, because this Real Madrid team is just, there's something about them. And as someone said earlier in our super chats, it's almost like a voodoo over this tournament. And I'm not talking historically, because they went years without winning it. It's this last 5-6 years when Ronaldo and Zidane's team were winning it.
Yeah,
they dominated games. They were brilliant. The last 3 or 5 years, the amount of games I've watched where I've gone, how have Madrid won again? So yeah, look, it's you can't write that off. Technically Gifted here, an amazing donation from yourself tonight. I want to say a massive thank you to you, my friend. He says, question for Mikel Arteta outers. So we'll throw this to Conor. We have to be careful because the replacements we could end up with could take us backwards or being like Tottenham or United, but competing being second and quarterfinals is hard as it is. Also, Arsenal don't have two or three superstars. So essentially saying you want Arteta out, but look where we are, look how well we're doing. And what if the new manager takes us backwards? There's an irony in this being a question for you, Conor, after our conversation earlier on today. But I'll pose this question from Technically Gifted to you.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to try and break this down a little bit. The narrative, I've heard this narrative before, especially I had this conversation in the group chat before. Like Matt, he says, if we get a new manager, will we fall backwards? You know, I look at it in this site, right? The team we've got now is a couple of additions away, I think, from being properly good, like really, really good. Look at the situation we're in when Mikel Arteta took over. You know, we were low back, we were awful. We were low down in the league. Really, really a load of bad players that we had to clear out. We've got a good squad. We've a manager, a really good manager. Don't know, you can name any manager. You know, we don't know who we could possibly get in at the moment. You know, but you could bring in a manager, and I think any decent up there world class manager could really do good things with this team. It's not like we're going to have a manager coming in working with a really crap side. If we're going to get a new manager in that's going to take this level of side that's been competing for the last 3 to 4 years down to possibly where Tottenham and Man United are, I think that is borderline, deluded. I'm sorry. You got to think of it logistically. If we really think that Mikel Arteta is the only guy that can keep this Arsenal squad up in second competing, I think we're living in cuckoo land there a little bit. There's a lot of coaches out there that could come into Arsenal and really do a good job with these players, and I think actually adapt them to be even better. I do sometimes like to say that this system is actually really keeping the players quite locked in. I think there's a lot of potential still in these players that are being kind of locked in. And in terms of what was the other part of the question? Being on top of Man United. And listen, a lot of people are coming out in here and saying, Arteta needs one more season and he really will, once he gets a striker, he really will go ahead and do this. He will go ahead and do that. We've had so many opportunities under Mikel Arteta, especially in the windows, to really improve. A lot of people said this window just gone would have been the window to get that striker to really to bolster everything. So this would be our year. And we look at Liverpool this season. This Liverpool team aren't like the Man City of the last couple of seasons. This Liverpool team is beatable. We've seen it this season. They can drop points. This was the time. And listen, injuries haven't been on our side this season, 100%. They have not been on our side. However, we've recruited very well in the defence, probably a bit more than we should have in the defence, but we haven't in the attack since we've had Mikel Arteta. And that's the downside of having him. And I think, never know, with this new sporting director, we could be leading a bit more. But I don't like this narrative of if Mikel Arteta goes, Arsenal completely go to shit. I don't like that narrative. It makes me feel, it makes it sort of feel like that Arteta is the only guy for Arsenal. I don't believe, personally, if Arteta leaves, the next manager is going to send us down to 10th, 12th, dare I say 15th. I think
but you can. The thing I say is, I don't trust the decision makers at the club and who they would hire to replace Arteta. Arteta is the one guy. Before Barton came in, I don't trust Richard Garlick. I don't trust Tim Lewis. The Cronkies aren't people who really go out there and recruit managers. They more or less let other people do that job for them. So how are we going to guarantee whoever comes in through the door is going to be the right person when the same people who are making those decisions?
Agal, but you've just brought in Berta.
No, that's a really good CV. They've seen the CV, great signing there. I don't disagree with that. They've done well there, but I don't necessarily trust them to get a great manager in.
I understand
now that they brought in a DOF.
Agal, sorry to interject, but where I have to call you out on this is that you're someone who has backed Mikel Arteta. You've praised him as a brilliant manager. So how are you not trusting the people that appointed a manager you back to prick another manager that you back?
Okay, let me stop you there. Tim Lewis was not part of the club when Arteta was signed. Richard Garlick was not part of the club when Arteta signed. The people who brought in Arteta are all gone. The only person who's still there, who
brought Arteta in?
Vinay, Edu, and if I'm not mistaken, Raul Sinelli was still there. So those were the guys who brought in Arteta.
Right, okay.
So none of the people who brought in Arteta are still here.
By that logic, we've got to wait. So hold on a minute. So by that logic,
but I didn't even get to finish my point before Terry interjected. I just want to say, my final thought is, with that being said, they have shown that they have let Arteta down with key parts of investment, the attack. Numerous times they've said Isaac is too much money. They've said this player is too much money, that player is too much money, and they've shown that they're not willing to spend the money required in certain parts of the pitch.
They gave him £800 million.
Listen, that 800 million,
he hasn't been given money.
That 800 million, he's returned 10
No. He's been given the money. He chose him and Edu. It wasn't all Arteta. I know Edu had a big part to play in it as well.
So he chose not to pay 15 million more for Isaac. He chose not to get all these other attackers he wanted.
Listen, I'm not saying Conor's wrong.
That 800 million. just remember that clear.
I'm not saying you're wrong, bro, by the way, because I hear your sense in it all and that, and about a new manager. But I don't like I hate the talk about all the time about how much Arteta spent, because when you look at how much other teams have spent in the same period of time, 800 million, our team was crap. Like 800 million doesn't get you that much when you need everything changed, bar Saka. That's the one thing. So when we say, Arsenal spent 800 million, Arteta spent 800 million in the same amount of time, Pep Guardiola spent 500, 600, 700 million. It's a bit less, but look at the team he had at the start of that period.
Exactly. But Giuseppe, you know what the difference is? You know what the difference is, bro? Look at the difference of what we've bought that's actually been good compared to the amount of money we've wasted on the crap that we've brought in. Fabio Vieira.
The thing is, we haven't.
Okay, but you don't talk about Partey. You don't talk about Gabriel. You don't talk about Ben White. You don't talk about Declan Rice.
This is what I mean. You just picked out the negative part of
you just picked out the negative.
Well, where I've just backed the manager in another sense. I've said we've spent some money in good players, but where you took out the negative part, a lot of it has been on crap players. I've just bigged them up, but I've also.
I would actually say a larger portion of the money spent has been on positive players.
Yeah. I do think more of the money's been spent on good players, but what I will say as well is I do think the club did let Arteta down a bit, and I understand anyone wanting him out after this season. I don't think anyone should be looked down on for wanting him gone after the end of the season. I personally don't want him gone. I personally think the club let him down. I think Edu let him down. this was the summer, as you said, Connor. This was the summer, and he got let down in the summer. It's no two ways about it. Anyone that thinks Arteta didn't want to sign an attacker in the summer, I think you're just trying to pick things out on Arteta. He was saying he needs an attacker in January. He didn't get. So listen,
Giuseppe, we need to revise the Edu's take, because from what I heard since Edu's left is that he wanted a Brazilian like renaissance to come to Arsenal. He wanted Murillo that went to Nottingham Forest before he went to Nottingham Forest. He wanted Bruno G when he was in Brazil and the club didn't sanction the move because they didn't believe he was ready. He also wanted Rafinha. Obviously, he chose to go to Barcelona. And there was one more Brazilian player that he wanted to bring in, which we didn't even look at. And it just goes to show you that I don't think Edu was actually given the power that we thought he had.
I think as well, though, I will say that you were saying earlier about like being serious like the other big clubs. Remember, when it comes to the best of the best players, there's a finite amount. And I know Arsenal fans may not appreciate me saying this, but let's just say Barca, Madrid, Bayern, Liverpool, United are all doing brilliantly well. And there's 3 world-class players that everybody wants to sign. It is harder for Arsenal than it is for those other clubs financially and from a prestige perspective, right? So I also think as well that you're always going to miss out. And by the way, Fergie, in his pomp, missed out on players that he wanted, but it's about finding solutions. And I don't think everything that's gone wrong at Arsenal is Mikel Arteta's fault, not by a country mile. Me and Conor were talking about this earlier on today. I think the idea of getting rid of Arteta and there is no one else that can... I get your point, Igal, that you don't trust the people hiring. That's a fair point. But I think it's ridiculous that there's no other manager in the world that can take him forward. What I will say to everyone that wants him gone is the idea that it's a guarantee the next guy is better is equally as not flawed, but can also go the other way as well. And I think one of the biggest issues in the Arsenal fan base when it comes to that conversation, and we have it at Man United when it's about our future, is that everybody is trying to be right. And I think not everybody, that's a lie. There are very loud extreme groups who are reductionists and they want to reduce everything down to, just sack manager, we'll do better. Just keep manager, we'll do better. I think there's nuance. I think there is balance. And I think the first thing that people have to do is learn to hear each other and understand their perspectives. Agree that it's not about trying to prove yourself right or ego, and it's for the betterment of the football club, and have a conversation. Because the cold hard light of day, you 3 should all want the same thing, and that's Arsenal to be the best team. What shouldn't lead to massive arguments every day is you talking about the best way of getting there, because you're aiming for the end result. You're still trying to get to the same destination. This super chat here says that if you are analyzing the percentage of successful signings, at least make it comparative. Look at how much City you've spent on wingers. But that's also very true. And it's hard when you talk about your own club. I've read a report somewhere that around 50% of signings at the successful clubs are deemed good value for money or successful. The thing is about the comparative nature is very, very true here as well. The money spent on defenders was necessary. We need more, is what Abraham says here. And the Invincibles will never be replicated. Look, I want to thank everyone who was tuned in tonight. All of the normal viewers, the new people that came over from the United, from That's Football. I want to thank you all. This is going to redirect you to Husam's show. A-listers, I think, is on tonight. So go across and watch that. Go and support Husam. We're back tomorrow with more content, including...
That's what's on.
Oh, Alakwa. Yeah, you're on A-listers and you're not there. So, yeah, that's on. Tomorrow we're back with the real European competition, the Europa League match reaction in the evening.
Shameless.
Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.